that? That's the only word on here I can't read.
We'll talk again soon.
Oh, I know. Yeah. No, you got it. How's it going?
It's good to see you.
Good to see you. Okay, we got 4 o'clock. Call the meeting to order. Roll call.
Nathan Tormelin.
Here.
JJ Reinhardt.
Here.
Mark Dennis.
Here.
Bonnie Good. Here. Tim Harden.
Here.
John Kelly.
We have a quorum. Thank you very much. Has everybody had a chance to look at the minutes from the previous meeting?
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
Thank you, JJ. Second. Got a second. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Any public hearings, Mayor? Any old business? Not aware of any. Any new business? Dan?
Good afternoon, everyone.
Howdy.
Flip.
All right. Been up here a couple times already to talk about what I'm calling Spark Place, which is the co-working space we're working to develop here in Seymour to support entrepreneurs, innovators, and big thinkers here in Jackson County. And I think from the time that we've spent together talking about this, I walked away with 3 basic questions from this group. And I think I have answers to all 3 questions today. The first question is, which building are you going to settle on? So I'm happy to report that we have an executed purchase agreement for what we all know as the George's Tire Shop parcels over here on 2nd and Broadway. That's been executed with the Bose family who currently owns that property. And the Chamber Foundation has submitted the $5,000 earnest funds as well to secure that property, and that process as far as due diligence has begun. So that's the answer to the first question. The property that we are seeking to do this project on is what we all know as the George's Tire location here in Seymour. The second question I heard from you was, what's the timeline for the project? The short answer to that is now is the timeline. Now that we have secured a path forward on a building, we are moving forward with the project. And then the final question that I think, JJ, you raised was, is the county going to have any participation in this project? And that question was answered last Thursday in the county council meeting when they appropriated $1 million towards this project. So from my standpoint, from what I've heard from you, those 3 questions have now been answered. And so I'm back today to see if you would consider a request from us to have Seymour RDC support this project as well. I'm happy to answer any questions as always.
What kinds of additional support are you after?
I will tell you that we are rated as an A project from our regional ready team. That's A as in it's a good one, not A is the other one. It's a good project. We have requested $240,000 from Ready. So at this point in the Ready process, that's the number that we're at least penciled in as the mayor. I'm sure others could tell you that it's a fluid process with the state as far as Ready is concerned. But at this point today, we are rated as an A project in our region at $240,000. So our ask would be, I think my initial request and what I gave you was $200,000. So that's not quite a match of the Ready dollars. But that would get us to the point with the projections that we have, that would get us to the point of being able to secure the parcel required, make the remodel improvements, that's the word, the improvements that are needed for the facility, get it equipped, get it furnished, get it open and operational, ready to serve the residents of Seymour and Jackson County.
So how is it going to be sustained on its own going forward once it's built, renovated, and occupied?
Yeah, so that's part of our business plan as well. I'm happy to provide an updated copy of that too. I provided an initial copy, but it's been kind of a evolving business plan as we've learned more, we've added more to it. But the plan at this point would be for the chamber to move our offices into the space. I mean, the whole idea is to offer resources to entrepreneurs and innovators. So we see ourselves as kind of a front door of resources in a lot of ways in the community. So we would operate our offices out of that space as well. So that kind of changes our business model as an organization as well, would allow us to do that. And then just some conservative projections we've made as far as like early stage memberships, even in the first year. We feel very confident that we will be able to more than maintain operation of the facility.
What will you do with your existing building?
That is yet to be determined. We've looked at potentially looking at, do we want to lease that to someone else? Do we want to put it on the market? It is a unique property in that it's the only property in downtown Seymour that's on the National Registry of Historic Places. It also does come with deed restriction covenants that come with the deed. So it would need to be the right purchaser if that were the avenue taken. But in our mind, it's a little down the road for us, so we haven't really gotten those plans in concrete yet.
Other questions?
Is R200, would that be the ready match, or is the counties count as the ready match regard? I mean,
Either would.
okay.
Yeah, either would.
So that 200, does that follow basically the budget that you presented to us in the package previously?
Yes. I will mention that Spark itself is a larger umbrella than just Spark Place. So there's an additional $200,000 of commitments that we have from local investors that are going to invest in what's being called Flywheel Fund Jackson County, which is a venture capital fund to help early stage entrepreneurs. If you are an early stage entrepreneur and you have a business idea, you can't really walk into a bank and ask for money. It's too high risk. So we've helped develop this fund here locally with some local leaders. So there's also private money that's being invested in the overall project of Spark Jackson County. But I am speaking to you more specifically about Spark Place because that's the ask, but I wanted you to understand too, there's also private dollars from local investors that's being involved and invested in the larger umbrella of our Spark initiative.
But that's not part of your operating budget or tied to that in any way,
No.
correct?
No, those dollars are completely separate. In fact, once the Flywheel Fund Jackson County is actually up and running, we really won't have anything to do with it other than development of entrepreneurs that we can feed to that system that hopefully they can get some funding to help scale their ideas. But it won't be an internal mechanism of the chamber at all.
Is this 200,000, is this just your first ask? Will you be coming back for more?
I have no expectation of coming back.
Okay.
All of our models demonstrate that, and that's a great question, it's a fair question. All of our models demonstrate that this along with the county funding and ready, will get this facility open and running, which is the goal, the immediate goal.
George's is within the downtown area.
I don't know.
It is not currently in the Main Street district, if that's what you're asking.
It's just outside.
It's just outside. I know there has been some discussion with the Main Street Board about potentially expanding into that space to capture that as well. But obviously they're going through some leadership transition right now, so I think that's on hold. But yeah, this side of Broadway is, that side currently is not part of the Main Street district. But I think obviously it sits at a major corridor to our downtown. And I would hope to see it included in the Main Street district at some point.
The current chamber building is so, so notable and actually outstanding according to the National Register and that sort of thing to their classifications. So do you have plans, or can you give me just a general idea of what you'll do for George's to make it noticeable and welcoming to to visitors and residents?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great building. There's nothing sexy about it today. It has great bones. We've had a couple of different folks in there that are more in that contractor space than I am, that have talked about, the great bones of the building, the potential there. Obviously, it needs some structural things. We know it needs a new roof. We know it needs HVAC. I mean, it was a tire shop after all. Some things like that. But we believe we can definitely make that a bright, welcoming environment there. We want it to be a shining beacon at that intersection to welcome people to Seymour, to our downtown. We think it's strategically located too. I call it downtown adjacent. It's just like right there, again, to serve as that gateway. But a lot of that will come down to architectural, design and stuff like that above my pay grade. But we are committed to doing this right, and we want it to be attractive. We don't want to get something, that's 80% done. We want to do this right and have a great finished product to offer to the community.
Along those lines, you said you've had a couple of people in and look at it, and you want to do this right, and you're depending on them and their architectural skills. So you don't actually have a number of what it's going to cost to make that happen, do you?
We have what I would call ballpark estimates, but we haven't had an architect actually do a space plan. We don't own the building yet, so we haven't had an architect do a space plan yet, which would be the first part. And based on that space plan, then we can start actually assigning real numbers. But we do have a running budget of like categories where we think a roof's going to cost this much, HVAC is going to be this much, plumbing's going to be this much. And we've had some of those folks take a look at that as well. And they feel like we're in the ballpark for an running budget at this point of what those numbers are going to be.
But you have a running budget, and you've talked about your business model would be able to continue this over after you get started. But what if those budgets actually come in at 1.5 or twice of what you're thinking on this budget? Then where are you going to be dollar-wise there? As JJ asked, are you going to be coming back and saying, hey, we're short, we're going to need some more money, or we can't do all this project at this point, we can only do half of it because the budget's come in? I mean, even us, we've faced it quite often with, we planned on this for a road, and now costs have changed and it's more money. And we're not even to the point where you've got concrete numbers yet, and you're already thinking it's going to, your business model is going to take care of it when we're not sure what those numbers are.
So when I talk about my business model, there's two sides to that. There's what we call the development of the space, which would be the purchase of the real estate, and then getting the space open and accessible to the public for its intended function. And then there's what we call operating costs, and we've built models around both of those. Are those numbers that are perfect, that will never change? No. If I were to stand up here and tell you that, you would know that I would be lying to you, because none of us know that. But I do believe that these are informed, educated numbers that we've put some structure to. They're not perfect, they're not completely scientific, but I feel like they're the best numbers we can have at this point, again, without that architectural space plan to be able to attach more numbers to it.
Dan, when are you?
And we wrote in a contingency around all things too, because we just know how projects work. Even within the guardrails, sometimes there's always contingencies.
When are you closing on?
I'm sorry?
When are you closing on buying the property? Do you have
Yeah, so they have 90 days of due diligence, and the reason it's a little longer than normal, they've had 2 phase 1 environmentals on that property in recent years. Those are typically only good for 60 days. So we did require the Bose family to provide another phase 1 and a phase 2 environmental. And from what we've heard, phase 2s are taking a little bit of time to schedule, so we gave them an extra 30 days out of the normal time for good faith, or due diligence, I should say. So we're looking at just under 90 days, because we've had it under contract for almost 2 weeks now. So that would be the earliest that we would close.
Okay.
I mean, the latest that we would close.
Do you have another question?
Oh, wait.
Well, so we have, a request has been made a few months ago, and you're farther along in the process What does everybody on the commission think about whether we're ready to make a commitment, or what do we think our process should be from here?
I wanted to mention that when we were at our workshop, Rich Starkey mentioned that we're not supposed to be funding like roofs and things like that. So I guess, with a building that's not, city owned, if the money goes towards a building, we'd have to be really careful, and that was what I gathered from that on how we would fund that. And it sounds like that's what this request is for.
I personally don't believe we're ready to move forward today on this. I believe whether it takes some more discussion or some additional information, I don't know that myself, I'm ready to move forward on an actual vote.
I mean, I think it's a good project. I kind of would like to maybe get a little further down the road and until you may, I mean, because if you've got 1 million already up front, I don't, there's some seed money to.
We're closer.
Yeah, if we're the last 200, then you don't need that right now. You need that, you need that at the end. So, whenever you're getting there. So, having some more parameters once we get the architectural study or whatever, I'd like to be comfortable that what we're going to give you is enough, I guess, would be my biggest hurdle on everything. But I know that Rich said that about but to me, this is kind of different because it's development related. I mean, it's it's not just somebody's building like we give on those projects downtown. This is a business development incubator, which kind of changed. I don't know. I could be wrong, Chris, but that's my feeling on it, is that it fits into our scope because of that development piece. But
I think it's a great project.
Right.
I just want to make sure that we're, that we are doing what we're supposed to.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah, and I wasn't saying, I'm
Yeah.
just saying, it seems different to me than just, the building across the street that we've given money for on the building or whatever, because it is development related, so.
To me, I view this as infrastructure of a different kind. So you've got infrastructure where there's roads and utilities that go out to a piece of property that's going to be developed by, a factory, and they're going to bring in employees and that kind of stuff. This is a different kind of infrastructure, but I believe it is still infrastructure.
Okay.
There was also a point made a couple of months ago, and I don't know that we've gotten an answer. Who can we give this money to? And there was some intimation that we are not able to give money to a 501c3. You're a 501c6, not just a
6,
foundation.
and we operate a C3.
So who would be the owner of the building?
We have structured it to be the Chamber Foundation, which is a C3.
Okay. So we're not able to give directly to a 501c3. Is that correct, Chris?
That's correct.
So there'd have to be some different structure, and I'm really not sure what that would look like. So it seems like there is some more due diligence we need to go through. You've mentioned that there is an evolving business plan, and we'd like to see that updated. If you can look into your rights as a 501c3 in terms of this kind of money, we'll do the same thing from our end. If it has to be structured a certain way, we just don't want to get caught where we've done something incorrectly, innocently.
Sure.
So it sounds like there is still some more work to do. I think we have our walking papers, you've got yours, and we can reconvene at a later time and see where this goes. But I think I personally support it. Sounds like there's more support. Tim, JJ, you
I think I support it. That's our purpose, is to grow business for the community, be it small or big. And if this helps, that's where
So
we're at.
generally, I think there's support for the project. We just need to be careful what we're doing and how we're doing it.
Absolutely.
So if you could, before next meeting, perhaps give us a little more clear guidance on what it looks like from your end, we can maybe move down the road a little bit, so.
Okay.
Does
And
anybody
I
else
know
have
there's
any?
a lot of support for this, and I think there's a lot of good pieces for it. I'm not completely in agreement that we need all the pieces or the size of this. I think it may be a little large of a project of what we need for our community. I think we can accomplish a lot of the parts and pieces there without going to the extent of this project. And so, I'm all for supporting business and helping small businesses out. I know what a struggle it is to, start and, keep a small business sustainable, but, so I am in support of a lot of those parts and pieces of it, but like I say, I'm not sure that, from what I've seen in the past proposals, that I'm 100% sold on the whole project. But that's not saying that there may not be, something we can look at, but again, until we see an updated, proposal and information there, and see where that falls and
Sure.
take a look at it.
Fair enough.
Thank you,
Anything
Dan, for
else?
bringing it back.
Okay,
Anybody else in attendance like to speak for or against it?
thank you.
I'll just throw in that the phase 1 and phase 2 are being funded through the city's EPA grant program that we received a few years ago. So, that's, I think, the city showing support for the overall of the project. So,
Good.
just so you're aware of where those funds are coming from.
And that's funds that we were told a couple of months ago will expire if we don't use them.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Anyone else? Okay, Reedy?
Well, good to see y'all again. Hope y'all are doing well. On your TIF plan this month, June settlement has now hit, so I just wanted to come and go through what each allocation area received this go around with you guys. The main Burkhardt allocation area got 3.135 million roughly. That is a little over half than the total amount projected for the year, so that one's right on track. The Bushman area received 242,000 roughly. Again, also more than half of the projected for the year, so good there. You guys will also see that we have added in the Jackson Park Fund on page 12. That is Fund 4449. That one has received 35,000, which is almost all that we projected. So we're gonna take a look at December's and see what December's brings and keep you guys updated on that. And then as far as this tab goes as well, there should be some good development in the future years in Jackson Park, so we will be updating those numbers accordingly as we find out more numbers and more things about different developments. Silgan area received 116,000. This was also more than half of projected for the year, so that one's good. And then besides that, Bernie should also be getting us some more updated costs that we will update you guys on as well for the main allocation area fund. But unless you guys have any other questions, that's all I have for you on the TIF plan this month.
Any questions for Cole? Good information. Thanks for bringing this to us.
Thank you.
Okay. Nothing else from Reedy? Okay. Claims. Everybody had a chance to look at the claims voucher? Any comments or questions? If not, I'd entertain a motion.
So moved.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Any miscellaneous business?
Just like to remind everybody of the announcement on Wednesday morning. I believe all of RDC is invited to. Hopefully we see you there as well as the media. Big news coming for the area. So just a friendly reminder that you're invited.
Appreciate that. Okay. Nothing else to come before that? Yes, Dan?
I'll just quickly add that this afternoon at 3 o'clock, the 7th class graduated from the Vincennes University Industrial Maintenance Training Program. That's the 7th group. Total now of 60 individuals have been through there. Some of them have been through 2 of the cohort. 6 have been through 3. Yeah, and the 8th one the 8th one graduates here pretty soon, and the 9th one will be starting before too long.
So is Vincent still happy with it?
Yeah, talked to Wayne Brooks from Valio this afternoon. He said that they're getting real good feedback from their employees and their employee supervisors. So yeah, it seems to be a real good results. I mean, and classes started, I don't know, November 13th. I think 60 guys through there in 7.5 months. Pretty good ROI, I hope.
Did you say 60 through the
60
several?
individuals.
Dan, has this led to other investments?
Yeah, on Thursday, Vincennes will be graduating its first, the set of students through earning their certificates in phlebotomy. I always mess that up, but I said it right that time. Phlebotomy class and certified medical something. And those two classes never existed here with Vincennes. They just an outgrowth of them being here with the maintenance training program. So that was real good to see. And again, our long-term hope is that Vincennes could start having some academic classes out at the Learning Center as well. But we appreciate the Commission's support on that.
Thanks for the report.
Has that discussion already started with them about doing some additional types of classes, or?
They know that's what we want. We're not quite there yet, Tim, but they know that conversation's happening before too much. And Vincent seems very happy with it.
Okay. Anything else? If not, would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Yeah, second. Any adjournment? Thanks, everybody.
Just have you